I would say that if the swamp were any deeper, it would reach all the way to China. But that would be without irony, as the dirty DC swamp and the rats who populate it already does reach all the way to China, and Russia, and Ukraine, and hell, anywhere else that Hillary Clinton has ever stepped foot on.
Never tell them who I am. Well, how dare I'm a man. 6 shooters in both my hands. I'm a cold-blooded brother, a real bad mother. Watch out, honey, here I am.
Big news that very few people are talking about. House Republicans are calling for the dissolution of the CIA after CIA Director Gina Haspel herself is blocking the declassification of further documents that would back up John Radcliffe's recent claim that Hillary Clinton was behind the entire Russiagate scandal in order to distract from her own email scandal. And so we had this from the Federalist the other day, where we have CIA Director Gina Haspel is blocking declassification of remaining Russiagate documents. So CIA Director Gina Haspel is personally blocking the declassification of documents detailing corruption at the highest levels of the intelligence community during the 2016 election, according to the Federalist co-founder Sean Davis. While new information about wrongdoing at the FBI has recently been declassified, including recent revelations about Hillary Clinton's campaign collusion with Russia, Davis reported on Tucker Carlson Tonight Wednesday that Haspel herself is standing in the way of the declassification of other documents. I'm told that it is Gina Haspel personally who is blocking continued declassification of these documents that will show the American people the truth of what actually happened. And this is a big, big problem when we have something that absolutely has to do with the safety of our democracy, with a former administration doing whatever, a former administration colluding with the political rival of the winner, so the loser of the election colluding with the previous administration to essentially overthrow the incoming administration. The American people need to know what's going on here. So there's absolutely no reason that Gina Haspel should be blocking the declassification of these documents so that we can finally get to the bottom of this. So notably, Haspel was previously the London CIA station chief under former CIA Director John Brennan during the 2016 election. And we all know John Brennan is dirty. He is straight up dirty. And that is why it is through this whole investigation, it is why he has gone out and been a vehement critic of President Donald Trump. So recall it was London where Christopher Steele was doing all of his work, Davis noted, noting that Haspel was the main link between Washington and London at the time. Haspel was handpicked by former CIA Director John Brennan to run the CIA's operations in London, where she served as the spy agency's bureau chief from 2014 through early 2017. Now, why we let a handpicked Brennan operative become the head of the CIA is beyond me. So I'm not exactly sure what the process is in appointing the head of the CIA. If that was a Trump job, then he certainly let the ball slip by letting Gina Haspel take the reins after John Brennan was unceremoniously let go. So I'm going to go ahead and play this clip from Tucker Carlson here so you guys can all hear what Sean Davis has to say.
This isn't just a scandal about Democrat projection. This is a scandal about what was a coup planned against the incoming administration at the highest levels.
Yep.
And I can report here tonight that these declassifications that have come out, those weren't easy to get out, and there's in fact far more waiting to get out. Unfortunately, those releases and declassifications, according to multiple sources I've talked to, are being blocked by CIA Director Gina Haspel, who herself was the main link between Washington and London as the London station chief for John Brennan's CIA during the 2016 election. Recall it was London where Christopher Steele was doing all this work. And I'm told that it is Gina Haspel personally who's blocking continued declassification of these documents that will show the American people the truth of what actually happened.
Why are we putting up with this? I mean, they're still holding documents from the Kennedy assassination, the Warren Commission documents. We still don't know everything there. Why is that 55 years later, 7 years later? They're blocking the release of so many documents. Why doesn't somebody, anyone in power could do this, stand up and say, no, these are going public now?
That's a great question. I think one reason is that so many of the people blocking these documents are likely implicated by them. You have these career bureaucrats whose careers may be destroyed by the facts that are within them. And I think at this point, we need the President, Donald Trump, to step in and say no more obstruction, no more blocking. We need transparency, and the American people need to hear the truth. And that means declassifying everything, letting everyone see everything about what happened, so we can decide for ourselves before we vote in this election who we act.
Yeah, and he's absolutely right. We deserve to see everything, and it doesn't matter whether these people are implicated. They're out there protecting themselves, and this is one of the biggest problems about the bureaucratic state, is that we have essentially people that are career bureaucrats who do not want to be beholden to the passing of each administration. They don't want to be beholden to whatever the policies of the new administration are. And so that is really at the core of what the deep state is. It's a permanent shadow government that works underneath the elected officials to continue on what they've been doing for their entire careers. So I think most of the rest of this is just basically quoting what Sean Davis had to say here. But we now have Republicans' rage over unverified Russian report on Clinton suggests shutting down intelligence agencies. And this is from the Washington Examiner. 2 top House Republicans issued a rallying call on Sunday to combat resistance from intelligence agencies to disclose classified information that they argue will blow wide open a controversy surrounding Russia's role in disrupting the 2016 election. That seems a little misleading because it seems more like it's around Hillary Clinton's role. And we've called this whole thing Obamagate because we know that Obama was briefed on this entire thing. But it looks like it actually all stemmed from Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton trying to get all eyes off of her email scandal. And so she was deflecting and manufacturing a scandal for Donald Trump. And it is absolutely consumed the media's attention for the past 3.5 years. I mean, you just thought at the debates the other day, we heard Joe Biden call Trump, what was it, Putin's puppy or something? So the narrative is still stuck, despite the fact that it seems to be completely concocted in the offices of the Clinton campaign. So, Representative Devin Nunes, the ranking member of the House Intelligence Committee, went so far as to raise the possibility of an overhaul of the U.S. intelligence community if leaders are not more forthcoming with their findings, even as national security experts warn of sources and methods being put at risk, and Democrats charge Republicans with pushing Russian disinformation to boost President Trump ahead in the 2020 election. Of course they call it Russian disinformation. It's just them doubling down on the same old plot. The same plot that we're investigating them for. And they want to say that we're politicizing the intelligence agencies. They want to say that we're politicizing the intelligence agencies. Meanwhile, Hillary Clinton is using the intelligence agencies to completely overthrow the man who beat her ass in the elections. I mean, beat her like a redheaded stepchild. Because America hates Hillary Clinton. We want every damn bit of evidence that every intelligence agency has, or it's maybe time to shut down those agencies, the California Republicans said on the Fox News show Sunday Morning Futures. Because at the end of the day, our liberties are more important than anything else we have in this country. Yes, yes. Love it, Devin Nunes. Very, very good. And they have been stampeded over by these dirty cops. Wow. I gotta love that rhetoric from Devin Nunes. And you know, it's interesting that Tucker Carlson brought up the Warren Commission and the JFK files, because it was JFK that initially started talking about the CIA being a runaway shadow government. And of course, he got killed for it. Well, maybe, I mean, I don't want to say for it. Maybe not for it. Probably for it. Nunes and House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, another California Republican who also appeared on the show hosted by Maria Bartiromo, both confirmed that they have seen underlying evidence to a letter released last week from Director of National Intelligence John Radcliff that said in late July 2016, U.S. intelligence agencies received insight into a Russian intelligence analysis alleging that Hillary Clinton, then a candidate for president, approved a campaign plan to stir up a scandal against Trump, tying him to Russian President Vladimir Putin and the Russians' hacking of the Democrat National Committee. So they said that they had actually seen the underlying evidence for the letter. Now, of course, John Radcliffe actually said that they can't entirely verify everything in the letter, but it appears that they have actually seen credible information, which is why they felt comfortable releasing it. They know that Hillary Clinton is behind this. It's just about getting that smoking gun. So every member of Congress should read the underlying information behind this, McCarthy said. This is really a bombshell of what we have wasted so much time on that it was created by Hillary Clinton. Would you put it past Hillary Clinton? I sure as hell would not. I think that woman would have done anything to be president of the United States. That woman is so insanely corrupt, so vile, so vicious, so evil. I mean, I'm just looking forward to seeing what's going on with John Durham pivoting his investigation into the Clinton Foundation. Because I think we're going to come up with some serious dirt there. And I think that using Amy Coney Barrett's, they're focusing on Amy Coney Barrett adopting these two Haitian kids. I think that might be a good segue into shining a spotlight onto what the Clinton administration was doing in Haiti after the earthquake that destroyed so much of Haiti. They went in there, they got like $500 million and then went to Haiti and bought like 6 houses while a whole bunch of extra children disappeared. Yeah, let's look into that. So the Wall Street Journal reported that officials at the CIA, the National Security Agency, and the Office of the Director of National Intelligence warned Ratcliffe that the disclosure of the Russian report would give undue credibility to claims tied to the Kremlin, but he released details about this information anyways. Republicans in Congress, which included Ratcliffe until he became Trump's spy chief in May, have complained for years about government agencies slow-walking document disclosures for their oversight investigations, particularly those related to Russia in the 2016 election. Yes, they have been delaying and stalling and doing everything they can to cover up what actually went on, which, when there's smoke, there's fire. And so there is something that they're hiding. They are absolutely hiding something, otherwise they would have released the information. This isn't information that actually has to do with national security. It's not like if they released information that cleared Obama and Hillary Clinton, that would have affected the security of our nation. No, there's an accusation against them, and they have their own appointed intelligence officers and the surrogates of those officers. I'm talking Brennan and his surrogate and Gina Haspel, that are trying to hide everything. So it's almost a de facto admission of guilt. There is something dirty that happened. And I think that if they continue to rebuff Congress, continue to rebuff the people that are supposed to oversee the Central Intelligence, the Central Intelligence Agency, then sure, get the fuck rid of them. Blow it all up, start anew, and put some sort of checks and balances so that the CIA or whatever replaces it cannot be this runaway shadow government. I mean, we hear of all the things that the CIA has potentially done, and some of it, yeah, it sounds conspiracy theory and that kind of thing. But there is some of it that is also confirmed. There is some of it that documents have been released about it, that whistleblowers have talked about it. And we shouldn't have so much secrecy behind our government and such a wide array of programs. The American people need to know what our government is doing. Sure, I understand that we need some state secrets, but when our government is doing evil things, they should not be allowed to hide in the shadows and continue to commit crimes against the American people. So Nunes argued that the suppression of this information emboldens Democrats, giving presidential nominee Joe Biden, for instance, latitude during the first debate on Tuesday to call Trump Putin's puppy. Exactly. The congressman also blames the media for going overboard in their reporting on unproven collusion between Trump's 2016 campaign and Russia, and ignoring the prospect that Clinton created a sick fantasy to distract investigators from finding deleted emails from an unauthorized private email server during her time as Secretary of State. Yes, where we will likely find proof that she was selling out America piece by piece to the highest bidder, enriching the Clinton Foundation and padding her own pockets. In this letter, made public by Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Lindsey Graham, Ratcliffe laid out just how far up the chain of command in the Obama administration word of the Clinton allegations traveled. Radcliffe had handwritten notes by former CIA Director John Brennan. Said handwritten notes by former CIA Director John Brennan showed he briefed former President Barack Obama and other top national security officials on the Russian intelligence analysis, meaning that they knew that there was analysis that pinned the entire thing on Hillary Clinton, and they continued to cover it up. So, in addition, Radcliffe reported that U.S. intelligence officials forwarded an investigative referral to former FBI Director James Comey and then Deputy Assistant Director of Counterintelligence Peter Strzok. And we all know that James Comey, I just did a video the other day on his ties to the Clinton Foundation, how he has worked at numerous places that when he was installed, they became Clinton Foundation donors, and that his brother, Peter Comey, works for, what was the name of the company? I forget the name of the company off the top of my head, but they actually do the taxes, and they did the independent audit of the Clinton Foundation. These people are all in bed together. They are all tied together, and they are all obstructing. It was also James Comey that came out that changed the law to not charge Hillary Clinton with using the private email server. It became provable beyond a shadow of a doubt that she had done that, so he had to address it. But he decided not to charge her because she didn't intend to break the rules. Intent was never part of the rule, the rule of law. Ignorance is no excuse for the law, and Hillary Clinton was not ignorant. She knew exactly what she was doing. She was using a private email server so that she could hide what she was doing while working as the Secretary of State in the State Department, as the head of the State Department, the Deep State Department, as Trump calls them, which is becoming more and more apt by the day. So Comey told the Senate Judiciary Committee during a hearing on Wednesday that this revelation doesn't ring any bells. Of course, he played dumb. Of course he's going to play dumb, because all of these people could be charged for treason if this comes to light. If Gina Haspel actually releases this information, it will give the smoking gun that we need, that Hillary Clinton was behind this all, that Obama and Biden were both complicit in it, and so was John Brennan, Gina Haspel, James Comey, all of these people, Peter Strzok, they were all part of this plot to overthrow Donald Trump, the duly elected president of the United States of America. Because there was a plan in place. And that plan started with Obama. And then he was supposed to pass the torch on to Hillary Clinton. They were all working towards one agenda. Now, I'm not going to say I know exactly what that agenda is. Sure, I have my suspicions, I have my theories, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you things that I can't prove. But I think that it's pretty, just my spidey senses are tingling enough that I can say pretty confidently that there was a plan in place that it wasn't going to be a change of guard between the Obama administration and the Clinton administration. It was going to be a continuation of an agenda. And I can say that pretty confidently. So perhaps the most controversial comment Radcliffe made in his letter was his admission that the intelligence community does not know the accuracy of the allegation or the extent to which the Russian intelligence analysis may reflect exaggeration or fabrication. Sure, he did say that. But after critics accused him of releasing Russian disinformation, the spy chief released a follow-up statement to assert that those claims are untrue. He said, to be clear, this is not Russian disinformation, and this has not been assessed as such by the intelligence community. I'll be briefing Congress on the sensitive sources and methods by which it was obtained in the coming days. So the information didn't come from Russian sources. So still, House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff, who is also knee-deep, or up to his gills in this swamp water, House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff charged Radcliffe with irresponsibly disclosing dubious allegations with the purpose of helping Trump's electoral prospects. He said Radcliffe's declassification Adam Schiff said Radcliffe's decision to release Russian intelligence he concedes may be false is an obvious domestic political errand with an election weeks away, the California Democrat said. But his acknowledgement that it was derived from sensitive sources and methods, which he may now have compromised, is just inexcusable. No, because it sounds like he actually had it. And Schiff has been basically propelling this entire narrative. He has been the bridge between the actual purveyors of this scandal, of this crime, and the mainstream media to push the narrative. I mean, he basically had a pup tent set up at CNN. He was on there damn near every day saying that he had seen proof that Trump colluded with Russia. Meanwhile, we got that 2.5-year Mueller investigation going on that was, essentially run by Andrew Weissman. I think we're going to be hearing a lot more of his name in the coming days. So Schiff was essentially running PR for it. That was his job, was to run PR for this entire for this entire fabrication, for this entire crime that was being committed by the Democrats. It was his job to push it out to the media and do all that he could to reinforce the audience confidence that it was actually happening. When we now know for a fact that all of it was fake. All of it was fake. Mueller came out. No collusion. Weissman behind the entire thing. Again, I think, or behind behind the investigation. He was Mueller's right-hand man. And, I think sometimes he was kind of the man behind the man, is what I think when it comes to his relationship with Bob Mueller. So McCarthy said Schiff, who has long claimed that there's evidence of collusion between Trump and Russia in plain sight, has good reason to want to keep this information under wraps. Exactly, because he was running he was the face of pushing this out there. And he was also the face, once it all collapsed, once it all fell apart, and Mueller came out and said no collusion, it was Adam Schiff that picked up the football on the whole Ukrainian, the Ukrainian impeachment bullshit. That we know they were impeaching Trump for what Biden did. They were impeaching Trump because they knew that he was going to be looking into Biden, which would further look into the corruption that all of these deep state Democrats have been doing to sell out America, to sell out the American people for their own personal gain. I mean, this is organized crime at a level that would make Al Capone blush. I mean, Al Capone looks like a petty criminal compared to the Democrat Party nowadays. And I say that with no exaggeration. So we're finding now that Hillary Clinton's campaign created this. Adam Schiff propelled it, even though underlying facts prove that the president knew about it, Obama, that CIA knew about it, that the FBI knew about it, and they withheld that information from the House and Senate. They were all colluding. They were all in on this. One big happy family of crooks. One big happy crime family. That's what they were. The deep state is real. The swamp is real. 4 more years so Trump can finish draining that motherfucker dry. Trump 2020, everybody. That's it for the video. Go ahead and hit that like button if you haven't already. Give it that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell, because we all know it's voices like mine that are first to be taken out back in old Yeller by the folks at Big Tech. Also, speaking of Big Tech, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Parler at Ram Thorburn. Also on mindsandpill.net if you're on those platforms as well, at Ram Thorburn. And if you're interested in contributing to the channel, I would like to be able to do this full time at some point, but I can't do that until, until I'm able to leave my day job. So there are links to my Subscribestar, Patreon, and PayPal down in the description below. Anyways, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a very wonderful day.